know what they've got planned for this afternoon. I don't even really know what it's about, although I know a little bit. But we are going to ask you are all on your best behaviour and listen really, really well. Because we do have something special planned for tomorrow. After today, we want to do it tomorrow.
Right then. Good. Hello, St. Luke's. Hello. We've got a play for you today. It's about 20 minutes, and it's called We Started It. I didn't just make it all up. Some of it's made up, but lots of it are facts which I got from that school log, which came from your school, so that's absolutely wonderful. What you're going to find is that it's going to be about people who actually taught in the old school building, who were being trained to be teachers. And they're very good footballers, they're not very good teachers. So I think I'm going to have to go over there because they're not going to hear me otherwise. But I'm going to have to move over there, in fact, okay? And we're going to start very shortly. All right, so you all look that way, please. Nice and quiet.
John, what do you think of Adam at practice?
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic, wasn't he? He's got a great right foot.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, over the top.
I'm sorry, I should be 2 minutes late. Nobody here. Well, there should be. It's gone 6 o'clock.
Over. 1, 2, 3.
Mr. Brody, Mr. Baton, where are you?
Coming, sir.
Just what do you think you're doing? You're supposed to be here for a lesson with me, but you're late, incorrectly dressed and playing football.
Sorry, sir. Some of our friends needed to practice before a game. Same time they can find you should be here, aren't they?
Wait a minute, what are you talking about practice? These friends of yours, are there any jobs to go to? It's Wednesday today, it's 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. You should be at work until at least 7.
Beg pardon, sir, but some of the older ones work in the ironworks, and they say the trade's really bad, sir, so just now, they don't work so many hours.
Dough? Mr. Baton, there is no such word in this school as dough.
Sorry, sir.
You should be. You've wasted about 6 minutes of very busy class time. We've got to do the geography of Africa, the Romans in Britain, including Boadicea's revolt, and we've got some algebra to get through, and the vicar expects me at St. Luke's for supper at 8.
Sorry, sir.
We'll start right away, sir.
No, you will not. I'm not teaching you in that state. I am a headmaster and a gentleman. Now, you're only pupil teachers, but you are still gentlemen. Well, becoming gentlemen. And gentlemen do not sit down to learn their lessons in dirty football clothes.
But, sir, I don't understand. I mean, you think you have football things.
And listen, and ask questions.
Are you asking questions of your headmaster's judgment? That is something I will not put up with. Now, you go and get changed immediately.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come the young rascals, you. Oh, dear, I'm too soft on them, that's the problem. Oh, dear. Work all day in school, go home, have some tea, find the books I need to teach those two in the evening, and what do? Play football. Well, now we've wasted about 20 minutes. But before we begin, there is one thing I want to ask you. You two belong to a proper football team, don't you?
Yes, sir.
No, St. Luke's FC, sir.
You should know, sir. You started it.
Did I? No, I don't remember starting a football team, much as I love the game.
Don't remember, sir. Giving the young boys that new expensive football for doing so well at the government inspection.
Oh, so I started off on all this nonsense, did I? Yes, well, it seems like I've made a rod for my own back.
What do you mean, sir?
When somebody does something that later on causes them problems or irritation, we call it making a rod, a big, thick stick for other people to beat them with. So, you should know an expression like that at your age, Benton.
One Friday afternoon,
Yeah?
you let the boys off early for a game. You said it was because they did so well at the drawing examination, which you said was really difficult.
Yes, well, you're right there, I remember that. Let's see, it was in March, if I remember. February, March. There we go. March the 15th, 1877. The copy was exceedingly difficult for the first grade. I let the boys off early on Friday afternoon. They had a game off. Yes, it's all there, all in the logbook if you look for it.
What was it you wanted to know, sir, again?
Eh?
I'm only asking because you're so keen to get on and teach us, sir.
Mr. Bainton, you are becoming cheeky. Not a good idea for somebody who, I see, here. I was obliged to warn with regards to his extreme want of punctuality. This dreadful habit you have of always turning up late is a very bad example of a teacher to set his children.
Sorry, sir. What did you want to ask again, sir?
What? Oh, yes. Well, I just wondered where you got that dreadful football outfit from. I mean, can't St. Luke's find you something better to play in? You will never feel pride in your team if you run around like a couple of clowns out of a circus.
My mother made it for us, sir. I'm very proud. We can't all be head teachers with our own house and big salary and afford a proper football kit.
And boots. And whistles.
You don't have a whistle. Oh, well, how does the umpire control your matches?
Whistles cost money, Mr. Barcroft.
Something which your student teachers don't have. My mother bought that new Singer sewing machine on a 2-year hire purchase, and the first thing she made was our uniforms. I'm very proud, and I won't have them criticised.
Well, all right, I'm sorry. I'm sure your mother, who was a very sweet woman, did absolutely...
Sir?
Yes?
Surely we're gentlemen. My mother was a lady.
Not a woman. Very well. She's a very sweet lady. Now can we get on? Sit! All right. Africa. Africa is a large continent. Where are your books? You're going to need to take notes.
Sorry, sir. Left mine at home. Forgot. So what with football and everything?
Yes, sir. Very excited about the game. And
How old are you? I repeat, how old are you?
nearly 16, sir.
Just turned 18, sir.
And you turn up to lessons without books. What can I say to you? You'll just have to remember it. There will be a test. Africa. Africa is a large continent, bounded to the north by the Mediterranean Sea, to the west by the Atlantic Ocean, and to the east by the Indian Ocean.
Sir,
Yes.
it should be as if we had a map so we could see where these things are.
It would indeed, Mr. Brodie. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring the map from my study.
That's all right, sir. We all forget things sometimes.
There are great differences in the climate of Africa, from the Sahara Desert to the north to the great wet jungles around the equator. But much of the continent is very fertile and produces many important crops. What is it now? Yes! Mrs. Povey, what can I do for you?
Fowl.
Fowls?
Or to deliberately kick somebody, sir, or trip them up.
No. Chickens. 3 of them In the playground.
Oh, good heavens, where have they come from?
The vicar's garden. He's got hundreds of them, and they've escaped again.
Oh, can we go and catch them, sir?
Mrs. Povey, did you really have to disturb me in my work with the pupil teachers just for this?
Eggs.
Eggs?
Eggs, sir. What if the children find the eggs, throw them at each other, get them all over their clothes, their mothers come out of school and they
Enough, Mrs. Povey. There are more important things to think about than fowls laying eggs in the playground. Go and tell your husband. He's the caretaker. He's the man for this job, not me. I am the headmaster.
I would, sir, but Mr. Povey is down the fighting cocks.
In a public house on a Wednesday.
Teeth, sir. Teeth. He's got terrible toothache and he won't go to the dentist.
No, I'm sorry. In the park because of bad teeth. I don't think the vicar will believe that. This is very worrying. God-fearing man with a responsible job in a school should not be drinking. I might have to report this to the school board. Your husband could get the sack if he doesn't mend his ways. Please go away, Mrs. Povey. I'm doing very serious work here with these young men. It will help them one day, a very long time from now, to become teachers.
Very well, sir. Good evening, sir.
And good evening to you, Mrs. Povey. And don't disturb me again. Please. Where were we? Yes, the crops. We were talking about the crops. Well, as well as traditional crops such as sorghum, Africa these days produces things like cocoa, chocolate, sugar, sweet things which no doubt young men like you hanker after.
Too expensive for poor people teachers like us, sir.
My mother actually bought us some new Cadbury's chocolate drink. That's Christmas. She really loved it.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear that these African products have a market in Wolverhampton. And what is it now? That Povey woman and her blasted chickens.